Mirror Gaming was invited by Capcom to play a work-in-progress version of Street Fighter 6 ahead of its launch on June 2nd, 2023, and we've somehow left the session even more impressed by what was already one of our most highly anticipated games of the year. We were able to take a look specifically at Street Fighter 6's two offline sections, Fighting Ground and World Tour, including every mode and access to all 18 of the characters available on the base roster. The main section of Street Fighter 6 is Fighting Ground. This is where the classic Street Fighter gameplay and modes you know and love are housed, like arcade, training, and of course, 1v1 battles. We were trepidatious about the over-reliance on Street Fighter 2's cast once again. After the absolute disappointment that was Street Fighter 4's newcomers and the hit-or-miss nature of the Street Fighter 5 batch, we're so happy to say that Capcom has absolutely knocked it out of the park with the new generation. We've had access to Luke, Jamie, and Kimberly before now in the Street Fighter 6 closed beta, but this preview is the first time that we've been able to check out Manon, Lily, Marissa, and JP, each of which somehow already feel like they've been a part of the game for years. Some, like Lily and Kimberly, are fresh spins on existing characters like T-Hawk and Guy, and others, meanwhile, bring fresh new styles like Marissa's hard-hitting MMA, or, as is our personal favourite character so far, Manon's ballet-infused grappling moveset. By far the best part of the character roster is how hard Capcom went on the new designs. The RE engine is once again doing wonders as classic characters like Cammy, Zangief and E Honda look the best they ever have, while the newcomers also look fantastic and unlike anything we've seen from the series before. Elsewhere in Fighting Ground, arcade mode returns with hand-drawn intros giving you the rundown of each character's story. This shouldn't be a shock, but after Street Fighter 5 was missing it at launch, it's definitely something worth noting. In arcade mode, you do battle with a gauntlet of your street fighting rivals, including the most iconic rival of all, a car! Yes, the car's back. One of the most impressive aspects of the Fighting Ground is the character guides, which not only teach you the basics of each character, like how to perform specific special moves and combos, but also gives you the rundown of appropriate times to use those moves and a general battle plan for each character. It helps make the barrier of entry from the at times near impenetrable fighting game genre that much lower. The main event of Street Fighter 6, however, has to be the brand new single-player World Tour mode, which represents the wildest direction the series has ever taken in its 35-year history. An open-world RPG that feels more akin to the Yakuza series than a fighting game. You start off by making your own avatar through the game's in-depth avatar creation, which lets you create a version of yourself, a new Street Fighter character that you've always wanted to see, or whatever this is exactly. Yeah, the less said about that, the better. You start off your journey by training under Street Fighter 6 poster boy Luke as a trainee at Buckler Security Services. After meeting your very own Gary Oak-esque rival, Bosch, you're let loose on the streets of Metro City, where everyone just meets up for a fight. Pizza vendor? He's up for a fight. Street performing mime? She's up for a fight. A Roomba? Oh, you better believe that it's up for a fight. The main driving force behind the story is your player character learning from a series of legendary fighters to become the best fighter that they can possibly be, such as the aforementioned Luke and the first lady of fighting games, Chun-Li. To start off, they'll teach you their moveset and a couple of special moves that you'll eventually be able to mix and match at your own leisure. What's most interesting is how these moves actually affect the world, because not only is World Tour essentially a fighting game RPG, but it also has Metroidvania elements as your player learns each character's master action. This not only lets you get the jump on opponents by uppercutting them in the overworld, but it also lets you open up new traversal options, like using the spinning bird kick to break down obstacles, or to helicopter yourself over a gap. As we only got to meet Luke and Chun-Li over roughly 90 minutes of gameplay, we're expecting this campaign to be fairly lengthy, as trailers have shown off several other locations. Even if you're not typically a fighting game fan, Street Fighter 6 is not only packed with accessibility options to lower the high barrier of entry you'd usually run into in the genre, but it also has an unprecedented amount of stuff to do, without even touching the competitive multiplayer mode. It's been less than 2 weeks since we got to play Street Fighter 6, and we're already desperate to play some more of what's easily poised to be the next World Heavyweight Champion in the entire fighting game scene. You can expect to hear our verdict on the full game around the time of when it releases this June 2nd. But until then, thanks again for watching guys, and see you in the next one.